Okay. Hello, everybody. Good morning and welcome to Thursday Art Stream. Um, Today I plan on working on stuff for the Sona, aka the me that you'll see chit-chatting up in the top screen. Except I am 100% planning on doing the let's just say I have opinions on Sonas, and if your Sona doesn't have a monstrous form where you're like overpowered in some sort of deific being of power and might, is it really your Sona? So we'll be working on that for 7 today. Star Sailor 7, aka me. With that in mind, I do have some pre-sketches worked out because I have some ideas, but I will be asking you guys for some of your opinions. With that in mind, let's get started on at least doing the basic setup, which means like working on the stuff that I know I'm going to be repeating. So, first things first, I am a dragon fanatic, and so Seven's full true form is some sort of draconic space being. But as you can see, I've had a couple ideas, with one of them being far more drawn out and detailed. I'm just changing it so that I could gesture to stuff. Like this one, this is the one that I'm actually gonna like get started on. This is the one that I've done details about that I like. But there are aspects of like big huge paws down here that I like. And you can see me speculating on wings and things over here. But I may look stuff up because she's some sort of space entity. So just ignore like this part up here because that's as you can tell my pre sketch for the mini avatar that you have up here in the corner. So to get started with this in particular, I'm going to start by making this particular shape up here in a way that I like so that it's replicatable and adjusted. There's a couple ways that I want to do it. So let's start by making those. For that, we'll need this color. And I like this one's shape. It follows the basics, but I've also been enjoying the elongated ones where the top is different from the bottom. I also plan on doing some sort of glowing effect on these, like with the constellations in my mane. But like I said, that's something that can be adjusted later. But first, I need to change this into something else. I'll do black because then I can see all my colors in the dark when I turn down the luminousness of the creature. So, like I said, I'm going to start with the stars and some of the basic, like, stuff that I know is going to be repeated aspects. Yeah, that one didn't work very well. Yeah, that would be my kitty. Do you want to talk to the people on stream? Or do you just want my attention? All of my cats are like this. If you're on a phone call, if you're on any sort of like thing where you need to be like quiet, they want to be talkative right then and there to you, right then and there. So, yes, Sona time. We're doing big creature version of Sona because that's the best kind of fun silliness. We got basic aspects for those done at least, so that's good. I can replicate those and make them bigger or smaller as need be, which is important to me. So let's start by, I guess, taking down the proportions that I want to use. And now that that's good, we'll move this over so that I can do the full like sketch of how big exactly I'm going to get here. Because we got a basic design here, and then we'll just see how much longer I want to make it. Because I'm a big fan of creatures. Why, thank you. I'm a big fan of creatures with way too many limbs. Way too many limbs. I like when creatures got all sorts of impossible proportions. So we'll just start like seeing exactly how many limbs that I want to fit in here. Before I feel satisfied. It's always more fun if you do exactly what you're thinking about. Maybe not put that there. Maybe a little further back. So that you get some really big creature vibes. Since this is. Don't know how easy it is to tell, but up here in the main, I'll change the color so that you guys can see where I'm sketching. Up here, I'm planning on doing what looks like a spiral galaxy. So that the main is more spiral galaxy than previously seen. And we're also taking into account just some of the thought processes involved when I designed the character originally, which is some sort of space gremlin that exists within the vacuum of space and is some sort of stellar being. Because that's always a fun trope for me. I do enjoy a good space thing. But she seems to be made of galactic star stuff, so shouldn't that be influencing this? And you are absolutely correct if you're thinking that. It will be some sort of gigantic sentient space dragon. Because that's the fun. That's the big fun thing. So let's see. If we do that, it does seem to be working well. So let's turn down the opacity a little bit, not so that we lose the lines so much, but so that we can see this gray over them, so that I can do some more creature design aspects. This part's fine. This part needed to be worked a little bit. Because I do like making gigantic, scary limbs. Scary limbs is fun. Especially when you get to do humongous claws. Because if you're going to do scary limbs, you gotta do humongous claws. But with this particular limb, we're doing some sort of obfuscation of using the galactic clouds so that it's more of a silhouette hidden inside. So we got that. Big limbs, 6 limbs. Still think this is in the wrong place though. Haven't found exactly where it goes. But we'll figure it out. Considering this is the art. Let's see. We got that much space between those 2 limbs. And then we do basically a triangle or square of similar size. Then it would be right about here where it belongs. But like I said, this is one of those things that's definitely just straight up my thought processes on Sonas and what have you, because let's see. With this particular design, I did some last night, and it was about an hour of pre-designing. Some of these have been over the course of a couple of days, like this guy right here was around the same time that I did this, which was then translated to let me change the pen. That up there. This became that. My PNG tuber self. So, with drawing in general, I have been drawing for quite a long time. Basically all my life. But I only really started getting serious at around high school. I've been in several art colleges. Never really graduated because I have my own way of doing things, and that's not necessarily. Yeah, exactly. But in case everybody's wondering in the chat, Eclectic Exclamations is my mom, and I love her dearly. So, yeah. With designing and practicing and stuff, I learned a bunch in art colleges, but I never really graduated them because I always did things my way, and that wasn't necessarily what they wanted. So, in order to keep myself intact and happy in my art space, I decided that I was just gonna start streaming, which it's been nerve-wracking, but it's been fun too, especially getting to show off my thought processes with designs and stuff, so, and hear other people's opinions. I also game on Tuesdays, but yes, mom in stream, supporting the artist she made herself. With these, I'm doing less defined stuff for the back half because my sister my sister pointed out when I was telling her about it that I had initially designed Seven, the character up here, which is also my PNG tuber up there in the corner, that I had sort of said that she was made of all of this cloudy stuff, sort of like a gas giant, but that she had compressed it to form the main body so that you couldn't see, so that you could actually, visually see her. And I'm designing a big old scary boss monster version of her, right? So, like, why is she compressing parts of it? So she's right that I should do some more of that vaguely, like, monster coming from the clouds, how much of the monster is still hidden in the clouds aspect of it. So I'm not doing super defined stuff on these, like, back limb areas because they're going to be mostly hidden in galactic clouds full of stars, which is very neat. I also got to clear up some stuff for the people who know my PNG tuber. Seven's got a tail. The tail is made out of a comet because she's some sort of planetary being. The comet smashed into her and she just was like, well, that's incorporated now. So that flashing white thing behind my head in my PNG tuber is Comet Tail. It is my Comet Tail. I am happy to see you. And so I wag my tail. So I made these at the beginning because they're assets to be used later for design purposes. Now that we've got the basic sketch done, and I'm just going to circle this color palette. That's the colors that I'm using for different parts of the body. This is the physical compressed thing, and this is the galactic space clouds. With these not being relevant, I need to erase those, actually. Those aren't relevant. That's the eye color. Eye color. But you won't really see me use the... Yes. So, to get started on this in the way that I want to, we're going to first take this and copy and paste it. We're going to do that because I'm going to try and shift things around to form some sort of... Yeah, I need to stop with that for a second. I need to be smart about it. So we're going to do this the smart way. Since I want it to be sort of an arc that connects here from one corner to another corner and have it follow the arc fairly closely, we need to make another layer that shows the arc and then move it underneath these because I don't want it to overlap them, so that I can then use that as a guidepost. So that I can line it up on the lines and form the big crest. Oop. Don't know why that was like that. I'm making them smaller as we go, just because. Just because. As for other aspects, I plan on using the four-pointed star as one of the main motifs here, because that's one of my favorite shapes. I like a good diamond. Perhaps that song was correct. Perhaps diamonds are a girl's best friend, but not the product. The shape. Maybe I'll even keep this line. Just Does it even work? Did it even work? Or did it? Nope, that was the wrong layer. Boop. Frightening. To sort of follow like that instead. Because I do like me a good motif. So now that we got that shape down, which is sort of what I was trying to do here, you're right, I could have left the main line, but we'll see. I may add another line because I can follow the curve. But I wanted to get into the actual line work part of it, so because it's more fun that way. I use this line over the course of the entire line work part. I like keeping the line color unified. The only part that doesn't have this line color are the parts that aren't necessarily organic to the creature. To my 7. And I might make the mouth a little bit darker just so that it's more visible. But we'll see as we go. Right now I'm just doing the outline of the body itself, not differentiating anything in particular yet. Because we wanted to get the body itself down so that we can then use the bucket tool, basically. So for anybody who wants to design an interesting looking monster for themselves, I suggest you look at myths and creatures of legend first, because everybody was seeing things everywhere in the olden times, or they were coming up with stories that people were taking as truth. So, for instance, 7 is based off of, most people will know that it's draconic in nature, but I also sort of took inspiration from Sleipnir and from Hati and Skoll from Norse mythology. Hati and Skoll are the wolves that are chasing down to eat the sun and the moon. It's sort of vibed with the celestial aspect. And Sleipnir is the son of Loki, who's a horse with 6 limbs, who's said to be the fastest creature alive. I love that horse. It's one of my favorite mythological creatures and always has been. my horse girl phase turned into a dragon girl phase, so that's why it ended up more draconic than horse-like. But there are all sorts of fun, interesting myths that take place from different cultures that all sort of have similar feelings to them. Like, most people know the standard interpretation of the unicorn. The unicorn itself isn't kind in other mythoses, though, which I always found to be super interesting because it means that not everybody had the same interpretation as the European storytellers. It's oh goodness, I lost my train of thought. Um anyway, I guess I'm on the feet. Second set of limbs, third set of limbs. Is this the first set of like back feet, or do they mostly not touch the ground? Honestly, 95% of it seems like sevens in space almost all the time. So, if seven's constantly in space, do they even really need legs? No, but character design is fun like that, and you can give legs to a creature that doesn't need them. Or you could Giratina them and they're in a space that needs no legs, so they turn into this spacey worm creature. Giratina is a fun design just in general, for me at least. Because it's just so monstery compared to the other legendaries. I'll be honest though, Sinnoh wasn't my favorite for legendary designs until I played Pokemon Mystery Dungeons Explorers of Time and got attached to Dialga of all Pokemon. I never really thought I would get attached to Dialga, so it was always interesting. As for the more myths connections here, I was also sort of thinking about the trend for biblically accurate angels. But what if angels were also dragons, and what if dragons were also space deities, and that sort of more design choices that I went with. Personally, I still like the idea of people designing their sonas an ultimate boss fight form, because I think that would make a lot of fun, just in general, like ideas. Could you, if you saw my character as a boss monster in a video game, how would you try and take it down, etc.? Discussions. Or at least that's what I would do, because I'm always interested in choices like that, conversations like that, mainly because it gives the the person who created the character a chance to gush about their character and their powers and their weaknesses and what have you, but also, oh man, I don't even know, and opening up for discussion that way. Collaborative storytelling, the best form of storytelling, which is why a lot of people should be, if people agree with me, they're probably playing D&D, which is one of the ultimate forms of collaborative storytelling, or rather one of the more mainstream ones that's well known. I'll be honest, there's also a little bit of like just from the energy of it, of the character right here, looking all regal and powerful. Gotta say, it's reminding me a little bit of heraldic beasts, which are used in coat of arms for noble families. They're usually depicted as fierce creatures, and griffins and dragons and wolves and stuff of that nature were often used for that purpose. Ferocious creatures. Hand's a little bit too big there. Maybe it's just big enough and I just haven't gotten there, and I need to get from this point to this point. So, it's always fun to design creatures, especially when you get to do the stuff that you like in particular, because it's your Sona. That's that's the best feeling. Nobody can tell you no because you're not doing it for them. This is for me. This is my Sona. Oh, you don't like big claws? Well, I do. Sorry. And there definitely will be more to do with these claws than what I'm doing right now, which is sort of defining the shape of them, the shape of the whole body, making sure that the lines don't overlap in weird ways, and reminding myself of where things need to be. So, like, these two down here are gonna have to get cleaned up because they overlap. And I'm also gonna have to remember that there's multiple spaces there. So now we can use this to define the markings. With 7, the markings are fairly organic and rounded. So we're going to start with this particular one, which takes shape-ish around the face, which you can see on the Sona. it's not a very. I gotta have to check on the main reference to see where that particular marking ends. So we're just gonna pop out for a second and go to the main reference so that I can see how far down it goes. And it looks like it covers the ears. Main reference shows all of the markings and what have you, as well as the comet tail in better detail. So if it comes all the way down to where the ears meet, we gotta make it so that this lines up with that in a sort of rounded fashion. With this, it also means we get to do this line. And because I want to check again, because I forgot to check the body lines to show those curve. Okay. We go back over here and it comes up a little bit more. To just sort of form off a nice cordoned off area. Oh, looks like I forgot to do this knee. That's why going back over details is a good thing. But since it also shows up a little bit on the inside of the thighs here, we can make a line here that is also that color. Now, how far back does it go? I guess that's the question I should ask myself. Where exactly does it design wise? Where exactly am I planning on turning it into a more of a silhouette aspect versus where am I going to leave it? Technically, I think if I wanted to make this a reference, which I kind of do, because I like that, you'd mimic it at least a little bit. Till you get back here, which I also didn't complete. Interesting. To sort of form a. Well, I guess this wouldn't actually. Well, it's the bottom part, I suppose, but I don't necessarily think I'm going to go with this being lines. So I'm going to erase that, actually. And instead, we'll leave that for the comet tail. And we'll just sort of try and cordon this off till we get to the point that it's necessary to start doing details there. So let's see. If we start the way I'm supposed to, which would be like this, we need to find where the gap is. Turn that off just so that I can scan. Scanning, scanning, scanning. Where is the gap? We're also cleaning things up while we go because I'm a mini perfectionist. Trying not to be a perfectionist, but am sort of one anyway. Where is it? Between the toes? Let's see. Where is it? Oh, in order to figure that out, we're gonna have to experiment. Okay, so it's forward from that. Got it. Let's see, is it forward from this? No, it's backwards from that. So we clear that. Take this again, and we put this back. And it's right in there somewhere, which is useful to know. There's the gap. Right down there with the toes. With this toe in particular. And that one. Nice. Now we've got all of those. It's so touchy. So the first color we would use is this one. And the reason that I do it this way with the full inversion and the lines the way I do is because it makes it easier for me to keep my lines separate, at least. And that makes it more coherent design-wise. So we'll take those and we'll just fill those in later. So we go down here again. That way, if I turn off my line layer, it's still discernible where the differentiation is. So now I can do this one has to be done on another layer just because of the way I do it. Doing it on another layer makes it easier. There's a darker aspect with the talons because I wanted to give it this sort of scorched feeling just near the end of the of the limbs because it makes it fun. And that's what I ended up doing with it. Now we still got it inverted, which is good. Because then we can take this and start doing details on the talons, the claws. I mostly use the inking pens because they give nice clean lines when I do coloring and art. So I can just use eraser when I'm needing to do detail work. These particular designs that I'm working on, were a struggle. The claws themselves were a struggle to figure out when I was first designing it. I knew I wanted it to have the claws, but I didn't know how exactly I wanted to go about doing it. So it ended up being, well, what exactly do I want to do with them? I don't know. So I went through several iterations before I finally hit on making them more glowy than I initially thought I would. And the first step of that is, of course, making them neon bright, which I think is always fun. I love using bright colors because that's what makes me happy too. I think bright colors are very joyful and very sunshiny and nice and fun and vibrant. So, because I think I've run out of things to talk to or about, I will pose a question to you guys in the chat or let you guys ask questions. What do you think? What would you rather do? Ask me questions or get asked questions of a variety of natures? Now I go to this one and I go to this color. I go to the light pen. Yes, it's true. We do, Fairy. All right, so since I'll ask questions, then let's see. Let's start with something simple, I guess. What's your guys' favorite color? Mine's red, which I'm pretty sure you might not be able to tell from the fact that I'm using so much like pinks and purples and stuff in this particular Sona piece. I love color just in general, but my favorite is red. Yep. Yep, that's what I expected from you, Fairy. But yeah, my favorite color is red. Has been since I was little, and it was the brightest color that you could choose. Or rather, it was the closest to the brightest color that you could choose. That wasn't like neon yellow or green. Because while those are good colors at the time, when I was younger, I was like, they aren't very saturated colors. Okay. 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 Yes. So, one of my favorite movies is a Godzilla movie, but it's not one of the new ones. It's like 2000s. It's called Godzilla Final Wars, and it's your classic Godzilla movie. But it starts out by telling you that they have frozen Godzilla in the Arctic, and there's no chance of Godzilla ever waking up again, and that they're hunting down the other kaiju. And then we get a shot of a submarine going after. Uh, it looks like, honestly, it looks like one of the Asian style dragons that are known for being associated with water, and they're fighting it in a submarine. And the captain is just an American dude. It's like your token American for kung fu movie, but he's like full on like cigar smoking, leather coat wearing. Like he's Americans if Americans were cool. That's his whole trope. He's like the cool American. Dude knows how to fight with a sword later in the yeah, he's got a big mustache. It's so fun. It's so weird. But yeah, then they tell us that there are mutants, and the mutants are also fighting giant kaiju. And they don't really tell us why everybody's fighting the kaiju, other than because we put Godzilla to sleep, we have to fight the kaiju now. And like, okay, but why don't we just let Godzilla come fight the kaiju again? But anyway, because of that, we got ourselves mutants. Like, not X-Men style mutants. They don't have like unique superpowers or whatever. They're just mutants that are really good at kung fu, because let's be honest, it's a Godzilla movie, it's also a kung fu movie, which is the best kind of movie. It's the best kind of movie. So, they're fighting a giant lobster, like in the streets of Tokyo. That's quite literally what they're just doing that at the beginning of the movie, and we have like the protege mutant and the I'm doing my best plucky kind of mutant dude. And I don't really know how to describe it. Uh you get a bunch of kaiju fights. Anguirus is there, Gigan is there, Mothra is of course there, King Ghidorah is there. There's an alien invasion. The aliens are swapping out people in high positions of power to take over their positions, and we're discovering that through them not knowing whether their dog is their dog or the person interviewing them's dog. And Godzilla wakes up and can't beat King Ghidorah. He just can't, until he syncs with the plucky mutant who is immune to alien mind control, unlike all the other mutants on the planet Earth. No, I'm not kidding. That is exactly what goes on. So, Godzilla Final Wars, everybody. An absolute chaotic but fun time. Let's see. We take this color and we make it darker. We can do the nose, which I'm gonna make cute little loop. And we're also gonna do this. Ah, designing. One of my favorite parts of crafting characters. Don't actually plan on doing something in the eyes at the moment. I plan on maybe having galactic clouds seeping out of there just for funsies. I like that idea. As for the rest of the creature, I think we're close to getting started on some of the other stuff. So, let's do that. I gotta check my. So that's just black. Got it, got it, got it. And I'll take a pencil because we gotta sketch it out. Gotta draw ourselves a nice rock. Nice rock. can do that by building up rock-like shapes. Because, like I said, it's sort of something that simply became incorporated into Seven herself after it crashed into her. Both are correct. And now simply is a part of her. Unfortunately, I think that's too far down with that, so we gotta erase that. Asteroids are fun to design, especially in a big monster that you know you're gonna get to do more cool stuff with. Where gravity doesn't necessarily apply fully. And so if you want to do interesting choices, you can. And I like to do interesting choices. That looks like a nice shape. So we'll go with that. And underneath here, we'll do the light show. Which, fun, speaking wise, was our light pen again. Just doing stuff like this. Isn't that fun and pretty at the same time? Big creature. And we go above this layer and we start doing our beautiful, beautiful detail work. With this, you're just trying to sort of remember the texture so the lines don't have to be smooth. And I also need to move this above the line work that I previously had. So that it doesn't get overshadowed by the original lines. This is why I like designing creatures. They're both fun in organic shapes and inorganic shapes at the same time. So you get to have the best of all of the worlds, being both organic and inorganic. And then space creatures, you get even more fun stuff because then you go, do I want to ignore gravity today? Yes, I think I do, because I'm in space. Or, I want to use gravity to my advantage. And that's always fun. It really, really is. See, we got a bunch of lines in already, and it's already looking really nice. Got also a bunch of colors and stuff as well. And I realize now that I need to lower the opacity so that I can actually see where I've been and not accidentally create 7 lines over the same location, because I forgot that I had already been there once. That's why I like doing Sonas too, because it's an inspiration of yourself. So you get to decide what's you and what isn't, and how you want to express that. I'm a big fan of self expression. But we'll have to change the color of these lines once I'm done so that we can see them in contrast to the actual black that I'm going to be using again for the colors of this part of the design. Whew. So yeah, there we go. We got this nice shape right there. And then of course we gotta do well, I thought that might work, but I was wrong. So then we go to this and we oop, wrong one. We want this one to be hmm. Which means we can delete that sketch layer. And I think this one too. Now that we've got it all colored in that way. I realize that I forgot some yellow patches. Ooh, which is not good. Just because I need to do that for the design. That one didn't work very well. Yeah, that's the right way to do that. What's the shape of this back one? Got it. Got it, got it, got it, got it, got it. Okay. Big long star shape from the back of the neck. But we need to do this. We're going to turn this off so that I can see. Because I get to do what I want here, which is not that. Nice long diamond shape. Follows the curve. Because we got to get these nice spots in. They're there for a reason. And mostly that reason was to be sort of design spots for me to remember that's where the nice galactic energy comes from, but still important. So probably we'll start keeping like from around there. We're gonna make another layer. We're gonna make another layer and we're gonna make it look cool. Specifically right here. And I am going to use my sketching pencil again to make the fog, at least the shape of the fog. We got this mane up here, which I want to look more like a spiral galaxy. Going out and around and around and around and around and spiraling and spiraling. We also have this part back here, which is mostly contained because of this area. Also getting out of hand. Alright, I forgot the one that's up here. but there's one up there as well. And we have here basically this whole forearm being uncontained, as it were. You're going to have it sort of flowing around, sort of fading out in places across the rocks here, because I want to invoke that as like sort of fog breaks. Doesn't stop it completely, just sort of doesn't necessarily let it all through either. Now we add more like driftings off, because it's that sort of fun fog aspect. Sort of giving off like that proud royal entity looking vibes. It's always fun to do stuff with your Sona. Because only you get to tell you no. And I'm not going to tell me no on fun stuff. So I used that light pink because that's the fog color that I've used for the outline of the fog for forever. But it's not necessarily going to be colored the same way that it has been in the past. So we're gonna actually try and go ahead and do that. We're gonna turn this background one off for now. And I'm gonna start specifically out here. I always add these little curlies because I like them. And this is my Sona, like I said. Why deny yourself fun stuff when it's your art and you're specifically your entity where you get to be in charge? Yeah, that works. Yeah, I like that. just to sort of give it some nice cloud aspect shape. I am always a big fan of like islands in the fog sort of aesthetic. That's one of my favorites. And it's like often used in space and in pirate movies more than anything else. So I make my own islands in the fog. I actually want that one to have a little bit of obscuration there. And follow along the grooves in the rock to add that sort of fog-like aspect. But it's all of them. All of them act as like wayposts in a way, cutting through the fog. Because, like I said, 7 is both a product of this and exists in symbiosis with it. Which, of course, gives it an interesting place within the continuity of it, especially since I'm doing it so that it doesn't obscure the claws very much. The claws that glow, which could be there's a bunch of stuff that it's part of. And part of that is taking into account the fog itself being sort of living, sort of not. Originally imagined it as galactic clouds for which stars are born from. But now it's sort of become something a little bit more magical than that, I think. Which is fun. Especially when you're designing a space character that's draconic in nature as well. And you get to obscure features. Obscure features. Gotta thank you for this, actually, Fairy. You were correct about the fact that it's obscured makes it interesting. Always enjoy drawing clouds. There's sort of an almost therapeutic, like meditative quality to it, because they're not supposed to be perfect. Clouds are ever changing. So there's got to be some sort of ephemeral quality to them, intangible. But with my art, I can sort of try and capture a little bit of it. If for nobody else, then for me. Which is fun. It's especially going to be fun when I get to coloring this, because I actually plan on using the light brush in Procreate, known as the Nebula brush, to sort of define that it's more spacey somehow, than it was previously. Which I think is going to be very fun to try and do. I like that out of all of the things that could break the rules, it's the ARM ones that decide they want to break the cloud rules that have been put in place at the moment. Next Thursday, on top of being an art stream, it's going to be a special one, at least for me, because it's following a tradition that I've been doing ever since my mom got into a choir at her work. They only really do Christmas concerts, but she would ask me to draw the covers for her choir notebook. That's what she asked me to do every year. And so I always would draw her a character, a new thing for her holiday journal, which ended up creating a character who is a peppermint knight called Noel Evergreen. And his sort of universe has expanded into the Christmas verse. So, I'm going to be drawing holiday stuff next Thursday since it's holiday stuff. But it will also mark the 5th recorded stream, not the 5th total, but the 5th recorded stream, which is the milestone that I was looking for to feel comfortable creating a YouTube archive of my streams. So I will be posting those after the Christmas, after the holiday week off that my mom has, onto YouTube after that stream. Well, not exactly like directly after it, but I think you get what I mean. Let's see. Okay, yeah, I'll want to. I'm trying to make the big old spiral arms right here, but I'm realizing that I put the center point too high. So I'm going to move it down some so that it sits more in the correct location, and work on lining it up the last one. Yeah, see there, now it's right in the middle, center spiral, which is what I want. But I'm also going to have to move this again so that I don't break it. Alright, there. We got the big old central main now. Spiraling away, spiraling away, spiraling away. It's okay, Iron Duck. Here, you can see the whole thing so far. Because I was doing Sona work, and I was like, is it really your Sona if you don't have a gigantic, terrifying, godlike monster form? The answer to that question is no. It's not. So right now I'm working on the big main behind the head right here because it's 7. I'm a big old space dragon. Big old scary space dragon. And of course, when you think bigger space dragon, you think galaxy spiral, right? Because I do, and that's what this is. Big old spiral galaxy arms. It's honestly like favorite mood, favorite energy at the moment. So like I need to look up spiral galaxies. I just need to see. I just need to see. Yes, show me. Show me, show me. Nah, yes, thank you for being Wikipedia. Okay. So now that I have the lines, looks like that's really all I need. I like that. Pinwheel galaxy. Good, good, good. Of course, I also have star shapes because it's like biblical angel accuracy and big ol' space dragon and six-legged monstrosity of the stars, and gotta love that energy. Let's see. We don't need that anymore. I need to like alright. Select, 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 select. Let's move you down some so that I can actually put the spiral galaxy where it's supposed to go. Just right here. So to give you that halo effect. Now. Yep. Yeah, definitely. Look, here, I'll add a tiny little starship just for you. Size comparison. People. Little spaceship. I'll do it like spaceship wings. Yay! You made a gigantic space dragon out in the world. What you do? So this actually needs to go underneath all of these so that it looks sort of like that, but I'll need a secondary one. Exactly. Create a duplicate and move it up here because that's necessary. And as for these galactic clouds up here, I need to go back to my pink and do the finishing at least. Love drawing clouds, love drawing clouds. Like I was saying, and I don't know if you were here for this part, but next Thursday is special because it's 5 completed, recorded drawings. And it's also when I'm going to open up a YouTube channel for the archives so that it'll be on YouTube as well. Let's see. Yes, very much woo. Okay, so now that's done and we can do that. Yeah, you'll get to meet one of the older characters that I have. Ah, yes. The pain of being a digital artist. Where is the gap? Where is the gap? Oh no. Let's play the game. Where is the gap? I said earlier, I have a secret trick for where is the gap. Okay, so it's further than that one. Is it further than this one? Ooh, ooh, ooh. It wasn't clean. Okay, so it's in this one. Okay, first we gotta get rid of all of that. Where is the gap? Is it above or below? Is it above or below this line? My secret trick for playing Where's the Gap. So it's above this line. Okay. Got it. 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 So it's somewhere in this mess. On the outer edge. Oh. I do want to bet it's this. It was that! Yay! Now we get to pull up the... Okay, so... Undertale. I have only ever watched playthroughs of it. I've never actually played myself because I suck at bullet hells. I get panicky very easily with bullet hells. So I've only really ever watched playthroughs of them. So no, I don't think I've ever done a live dub of the game. Which sucks because it's really cool. I'm going in here specifically for this. There's a thing in here that I need to take off so that it stops shifting colors to like the colors around it, but I need to figure out what it is. I think it's in here, but is it this one? We'll see, because I plan on doing something interesting with this particular set of Now, normally, what I do with this particular entity when I do it is I use the airbrush tool and not this galactic brush tool. Looks like it's lightness too, so I need to change that. Lightness. I'll just switch that all to none and we'll see what it does. There's still like a little bit because it's a luminance brush, but we want to make it more spacey, so by gently tapping in this, we get space stars within the thing. It's a nebula. Ooh, that would be fun. Because I love the music of Undertale, like so much. Like so much, so much. For a while, my my favorite thing to do was this is like right around when we started we were playing a space based campaign. It was Starfinder. Or we were trying to rather. Yes, exactly. Seven and me loving nebulas. Me and the duck, she understands. Sometimes all you gotta do is make stars and that gets the serotonin going. Brrr. Okay, yeah. This isn't gonna work the way I want it to. Which is unfortunate. But it does mean that at least I know it's not gonna work the way I want it to. It gets too much layers in it, which is not what I wanted. But like Death by Glamour was the song that I decided suited my sister's character for the Pathfinder campaign, Spacefinder campaign. And her character ended up being Space Hannah Montana that escaped from Space Disney and is now on the run from Disney's hell lawyers. Literally lawyers from hell. Oh goodness gracious. Favorite songs from Undertale is I love like almost all of Asriel's songs. They're always so jammy. So jammy. And I love Megalovania as a meme song. But my favorite is Burn Trucking or Asgore's song. It makes me vibe every time. I found like somebody who did a like medieval mix for Burn Trucking, and it was like Burn Trucking in the Hall of the King or something, and I'm like, I am maybe a little bit monstery. Yes, I love this. This good. Ooh, good. I'm over here looking at your replies, Duck, and I'm going, ah, yes, it seems that Duck and I are the same entity, somehow separated into two beings, and as powerful as the day we were missing each other. You and I apparently are the same entity. The same one. Right now, I'm so cold. It's so cold in my room, but I'm doing art and I'm having fun and I'm talking to my friends and it's just like, yes. Fantastic. I'm glad that we met. Thank you, Art Fight. You do good work at finding people insanely cool friends. I got like a beanbag chair that's a noodle. It's fine. I'll be warm. I'm like kind of shaking because I'm cold. I'm kind of shaking because I'm excited. The energy level goes up when I have friends. Yes. So this is actually how I did Seven's hair initially. This is how I do the gradients and stuff for it. Yes, got to get that good serotonin. I don't want to stop. I'm having so much fun, but it's getting close to the time when we go out to go on a walk, and sometimes you need to like take yourself on a walk. Oh yeah. Yeah. I don't use Adobe, I'm using Procreate specifically because I love gradients. I love gradients so very much that if I couldn't figure out how to do gradients, I would be mad and upset for like the entire time. Like I will just sit here consumed with rage for the rest of the evening. And that's why I'm erasing some of these to get back some of my gradients down on these lower levels. But I wasn't initially able to figure out how to do the gradients here. And I was very mad about it because I'm like, no, if I can't gradient, then what's the point? I initially was using God, I still have the app on here. So I may go and show you that app too cuz it's free. But it was like Autodesk Sketchbook. Yep, that's the app. Which is cousin to Autodesk Maya, which is a 3D modeling software, which I know how to use, but I hate 3D modeling. Here's my secret. It's this when I'm using stuff like this that has no way of telling me where my gradients are, I simply take my blur tool and use Gaussian blur and gradient blurs, and so now you got this big old cloud entity. But it's not done yet. We want to leave it so that it's sort of transparency. Then we also take this and we invert it again, which is also a whole color palette mood. But now that we're on the last one, I can go back to the luminance. This nice nebula. Do that. Turn that down. And we can even like I don't necessarily know if I like that color, so we may turn down the brightness of it. Turn up the saturation of it. To get those nice galactic patterns in here. Because I like me a good galaxy. And I still got to do this galaxy swirl. Yeah, my whole like alternate self is big ol' color swirl palette. So, yeah, that's what this is for. We add the galaxy and we do it like that outside of the lines, sort of like following them. So it'll end up sort of looking like that, but with more gradient colors and also on top of the face. But I think I'm going to have to leave it here for now because it's time to go on a walk. Well, unfortunately, I may finish the rest of this on another stream, but next week is Christmas. Christmas traditions of drawing the peppermint night, Noel Evergreen. So I'm going to go on my walk now. Thank you guys for coming and being here with me. See you next time, Space Cadets!